I was standing in a rental car line in another state when my phone buzzed. It thanked me for booking 2 plane tickets I never booked, round trip to a beach town on the Gulf, leaving in 3 weeks, seats 2A and 2B, first class, paid for with my miles. I fly for work, short hops, 20-some weeks a year, same airline every time. The miles account is mine. It has been mine since before I met my wife. And the airline app does this thing where anytime miles get spent, it sends a push notification to say thank you. My wife did not know about the notifications. She knew my login because she books the family flights at Christmas. She had the email side covered. She deleted the airline's confirmation off the laptop the same morning she booked, and I found it sitting in the trash folder later. But she could not delete the app, so I am standing there in that line, looking at a confirmation for a trip I am apparently not going on because the passenger names were right there. It was her name and a man's name I had never heard in my life. I want to be honest about the first thing I did because it was not smart. I called the airline to report fraud. I got about halfway through the menu before I hung up because something told me to look at the account first. So I logged in and looked. The booking went through my own login that same morning, not an hour after I left for the airport. The activity page had the booking time right on it. My phone had been in airplane mode since the gate, and when it came back on in that rental car line, the thank you caught up with me. Nobody had stolen anything. This was booked from inside my own house while my plane was in the air. My first instinct was to change the password. I sat there with my thumb over the button and thought it through, because the second that login stopped working, she would know something was wrong. I left it alone so the notifications would keep coming. I did not call my wife. I closed the app, got my rental car, and did my 2 days of work, and I do not remember one single thing about that job. I'm 49. We had been married 19 years. We have twins, a boy and a girl. Both finished their first year of college in the spring, both away for the summer working at the same lake camp they went to as kids. My wife has a good job, better salary than mine most years, and I have never once cared about that. My job has me flying, and the flying builds miles, and every year the airline gives me one companion certificate. Buy one seat. The second person flies for next to nothing. That certificate was how she came with me somewhere warm every winter. Here is the part that floored me. I went back through the account history, all the way back, because by then I could not stop. The companion certificate from last year was not sitting unused like I thought. It got redeemed in October. Same beach town, same second passenger. The same week she told me she was at a 3-day work training. I was home that week fixing the garage door spring. She had flown him down there on my certificate. No miles moved on the October trip. Her seat went on the card saved in the account, which is mine, and the certificate flew his free, so my phone never made a sound. My program is one of the ones where the certificate can fly any 2 people if it gets booked from my account. She knew that better than I did. She had been booking off my login for years of family trips. There was never a reason for her to think twice about it. So, this had been going on since October at least. I flew home the next day, and she picked me up from the airport like always, and she asked how the trip was, and I said long, and she talked the whole ride home about a show she was watching. I looked at her doing it. She was good at this, relaxed and funny. Same as always. 19 years, and I could not tell she was lying to my face. That night while she slept, I opened the laptop in the den, and the seat map was still sitting right there in the browser history. Now, the trip on my phone was 3 weeks out. She had not said one word about any trip. For 9 days, I lived in the house with a woman who was about to leave for a beach vacation with another man, and she had not gotten around to inventing the story yet. I do not know how to describe what that does to your head. I ate dinner with her and watched her shows like normal. And the whole time I am thinking, whatever comes out of your mouth in the next few days, I have already seen the seat assignments. On the 10th day, it arrived. She came into the living room with her phone in her hand and a little frown she had clearly practiced. And she said her aunt, the one up north, was having hip surgery the week after next, and her cousins were useless, and she felt like she should go help out for the week. She said it exactly like a person telling the truth. She even sighed. I said, that sounds like the right thing to do. She booked nothing because it was already booked. She packed that week a sundress, sandals, and sunscreen to go help an old woman recover from hip surgery 400 miles north. Here is what I did. I did not yell or say one word about it. I took a half day and sat with a divorce lawyer 10 days before her flight. I showed him the confirmation, the seat map, the October certificate, all of it printed and in order. He took his time with it. Then he asked me a question I did not expect. He asked when my company profit sharing pays out. I do my 20-some weeks on the road for an outfit that cuts profit sharing checks every September. And this year was a good year, and mine was set to be a little over $38,000. He said, and I am giving you the short version of it, that where we live, the day you file is a line in the sand. What comes in after the filing date is yours alone. File in August, and the September check never touches the marriage. Wait until October to get around to it, and half that check walks out the door with her. He said the word that mattered was discretionary. The company owes me nothing until it votes the number in September, and what is not owed to you on the day you file is not on the table. Then he looked at the trip dates again and said, when does her flight leave? I said the 14th. He asked about the kids, both over 18, both in school, and he nodded because that meant no custody fight and no support schedule. The college accounts were already in the kids' names, and he said those do not get touched no matter what happens between the parents. Then he said that we file on the 15th and we can have her served the minute she is back on the ground. She left on the 14th and I drove her to the airport myself. She asked me to, and I was not going to be the one acting different. She kissed me at the curb, told me the aunt thing would probably be depressing, said she would call every night. I watched her roll her suitcase through the doors. 40 minutes later, I was in my lawyer's office, signing what needed signing, so we could file first thing the next morning. And she did call every night, every single night, 7:30. She called and gave me a full report on an aunt she was not with. Ice on the hip, the cousin showing up late. She kept that story going every single night, and she must have walked somewhere quiet to call, because I never heard one thing in the background. We filed on the 15th. Like the man said, it took less than an hour of my life. On the 4th day of her trip, the house phone rang, and it was the aunt, the real one. She was calling about the twins' birthday next month and wanted to know what dorm stuff they still needed. I asked how she was feeling, easy as I could. She said fit as a horse. She had been walking 3 miles every morning all summer. We talked about the kids for 10 minutes, and I never said one word about hip surgery, and neither did she, on account of there was no hip surgery to talk about. When we hung up, I wrote the date and time of that call on a notepad, tore the page out and put it in the folder. While she was gone, I did 3 loads of laundry, mowed, and had video calls with both kids and said nothing to nobody. My daughter asked why I looked tired. I said I was not sleeping great, which was true, and I left the rest of it out. My lawyer had one more piece of business that week. His process server needed to know where to stand. I gave my lawyer the flight number and the arrival time off my own miles account. She flew home on my airline. We had her whole itinerary down to the minute. She landed that Saturday at 4:40 in the afternoon. A man in a polo shirt met her a few steps past baggage claim, asked her name, and handed her the envelope. That is all a serve is, by the way. No sheriff, no scene, just a guy and an envelope next to the vending machines. He texted my lawyer a photo of the envelope in her hand, and that is how I knew it was done. She called me 17 times between the airport and the house. I did not pick up. The voicemail started out angry and got quiet by the end. When her rideshare dropped her in the driveway, I was in the recliner with the TV on. She came in the door already talking. It was work stuff on that trip. There were people from the office there, I was going to tell you. And then, when none of that was landing, she planted her feet and said, I have been at my aunt's all week. You know that. You talk to me every night. She was standing in our living room holding divorce papers, and she went back to the aunt story. I did not argue with her. I opened my phone and I sent her one email while she stood there. No message in it, just a full activity page from my miles account. Both bookings, October and this one, both passenger names and the seat assignments. Her phone buzzed in her hand. She looked down at it, and for once she had nothing to say. She sat down on the arm of the couch, and the only thing she said for a long minute was, You knew before I left. I told her I had known for weeks. She moved to her mother's that week. The kids came home from camp to help me box up her office, and I will keep those conversations between me and my kids, except for one thing my son said. He said, Dad, we flew on those miles our whole childhood. He got it. The divorce came together in about 4 months because there was not much to fight about. Her lawyer floated spousal support exactly once, and my lawyer slid her salary history across the table next to mine, and that was the end of that conversation. We listed the house in the spring, and it sold inside a week. The twins cleared out their rooms first. One weekend, pizza on the floor. We split the sale even, split the accounts even, like the law says. She rented a place near her mother. The September check cleared 4 weeks after the filing date, $38,406. Her lawyer did go after it. He argued the money was earned during the marriage, even if it got paid after. And I am told that argument works sometimes. My lawyer put 2 things on the table next to it. 1, the check was discretionary, nothing owed to me on the day we filed. 2, every dollar she had spent flying that man around had come out of marriage money, and we had it itemized to the penny. They went quiet for a week, and then they dropped the claim. The check stayed mine, all of it. And the miles, I promise you this is true. Her side asked about the miles in a settlement conference, said the account grew during the marriage, and the 2 lawyers went back and forth about my miles for the better part of 20 minutes, hers billing her and mine billing me over airline points. I kept all 212,000 of them, along with this year's companion certificate, unused. I only ever saw the man once, at his deposition, the one my lawyer insisted on to get on record who paid for every trip, because money spent on an affair comes back off her side when everything gets divided. He confirmed the dates, confirmed who paid for the flights, which was me, and he confirmed a 3rd trip I never found, earlier in the summer, paid in cash. So I did not know everything after all. He looked at the table the whole time. He was not some villain out of a movie. He was just a guy who took a free trip on another man's miles and figured nobody would ever find out. Last winter, the airline sent me the email it sends every year, reminding me the companion certificate was about to expire. That seat was always hers. This year, I flew my son out west, and we watched his team lose a bowl game in person, and it rained, and it was one of the best weekends of my life. Well, in my opinion, what you do in the dark at some point may creep up and bite you. And I want to shout out to my audience for being loyal listeners. There have been days I wanted to quit because of the thieves, and how they try to change the background, steal my voice, and steal the content from my channel because of you. We mostly have been successful, but for some reason, I have this mental obligation to not let down my audience. Let's go!